you got to have a plan, not their plan, but your plan. Like, what is your plan for taking that trade? What are you gonna are you gonna hold the way Prince does, or are you gonna take profit when he's taking profit? Or if I'm saying, in my tab saying I'm up 25%, I'm taking some off. Are you gonna keep holding, or are you gonna take some off as well? And so when you take a trade, or if you even taking your own trades, you have to have a plan. So for me, whenever I'm calling out a play, my plan is simple and straightforward. I'm taking profit between 15 to 20%, taking most of my position off at 30%, and letting my runners do its thing. And that's my plan since 3 years or so. So I keep that plan intact. So when you're taking these trades or taking your own trades, be mindful of that. Like, what is your plan? Like, what is what is your goal of this play? Are you gonna scale out if you see profit, or you're just gonna let it go down to zero? Because I think that's usually what happens when you don't have a plan. So step one when it comes to Richmond is have. Step two is taking profits accordingly. And that, as I explained the first time, like if I'm up 10%, most of y'all y'all be like, not that's not much. So I'm not taking it here. I'm gonna wait to get to 20-25%. Well, distance, and then or support in the reverse. Now that 50% that you did have, you don't have it no more. And so that's what I like, having a plan and taking profit as you see. Like, I don't care if it's $50 profit, $100 profit, $150 profit. It doesn't matter. As long as your shit is profit, take it. Because the name of this game is comp. That's what's gonna keep you in the game. What's gonna keep you out of the game? What's gonna keep you out of the game is you taking profit and letting the green go red. Always say, come up with a plan that you have to chart, and you have to know where to sell into strength, and when you're down in sell into strength, when you down, when you sell into weakness, you you able to take profit and beat it. And what I mean by that is, for me, if I'm up 30%, like you, Prince and Show, or even Bob or Devin, they'd be up 120%. That's cool. That's cool. I'm fine with that. That's yeah, I'm happy for them. But at the same time, they chart relentlessly. They chart their asses off. They know where their price target is. From people that are new, that are just joining. Some of you guys are not there yet, and that's why we always preach you guys to chart, because charting is going to get you a lot, and it's going to also to you risk management. So honestly, it goes hand in hand. So that's another thing. Practice charting. Like for me, I'm always charting. I'm not on social media. I'm not on social media looking at other shit. Like, I'm always charting, looking at. Like, most people know that I just trade SPY. Hey, who's that? Oh, that's who is that? Oh wait,
Them
I'll
my
just
little dog. Them my little dog.
I bet I'll what's up? Like, it's like I said, like, just keep charting, like practice charting. Don't have to, because I know we talk a lot about market structure and the strat and all the different strats. Honestly, just off support and resistance. So support and resistance is gonna get you far. And then once you establish that and you understand that what it is, then you can move to these different strategies. But just jumping in head first into a strategy and not knowing support and resistance, it's going to confuse you a lot. And so that's why I want you guys to just practice support and resistance. It's really, honestly, it's not that hard. Like I could plot out if I have a chart, no matter what ticker it is, it don't have to buy. It can be any other chart. Can identify the support and resistance that easy because I've that's all I've been. The first thing I've started. It's the I should have started yourself on before you just because granted it don't matter what strategy it don't matter what you use per se because just like we all say plenty of different ways to skin a cat, but support resistance is just going to give you the basics so that you know what to look for. Like if you pause and you see you're about to hit resistance and you say, okay, I need to take my profit here. That's why some of you guys are not taking profit at these resistance or support level because you don't know what it is. You don't know where to take profit. So you're just hoping if you're in calls, it's just gonna blow past resistance, or if you puts, it's just gonna blow past support. It doesn't always happen like that. Like I mean, like the last 2 weeks for sure. Yeah, we've been slight support down there for 2 weeks, but it's not always like that. So learning support and resistance is pretty much the basics, the number one thing that you need first, because that's also risk management there. Because if you're taking profit at resistance, then you know its price is going to have a difficult time getting over that resistance. So you know, like, okay, I need to take profit here. Or if we're approaching support, 9 times out of 10, I wouldn't say 9 times out of 10, but most of the times it either bounces, but lately it hasn't. And so you want to take profit at those levels. And I think some of you guys don't know that per se, and I feel like that's the basics, the real basics that you know in order to be successful in this market. Like you don't have to learn all these different strategies because it's gonna confuse you. Like just stick to the basics first and then work your way up. And so that's much pretty much on that topic. Just pretty much like just keep charting like relentlessly. Look at different tickers, look at different sectors and chart them out because once you chart every single any ticker out there, you can play anything. The reason why I don't personally is because I've been trading SPY, I've been consistent with no SPY. I chart SPY daily for the last what 3 years now. Yeah, 3 4 years, and so I know what to look for, what I'm seeing, and stuff like that. And so I can express that enough. Like charting is the number one thing that's going to help you be successful and learn how to manage your risk. But another time, hold on, pull up my notes. So the second thing is how to pick contracts, and that's another part of risk management. A lot of y'all are doing well. Most of you, I won't say all, but most majority are are pretty much picking zero DTE contracts. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna be honest, bit of being is zero DTE hater. Like I'll tell you, I won't play them shit nothing there. If we have a trend day for 2 3 weeks straight, I just don't play them. Why? Because my entries are that perfect. I know that. I know that's my weakness. That's my weakness in the market is that my entries are not perfect. So I'm not gonna play into my weakness. I know my strength. My strength is buying time. I've been a lot more successful buying time my contracts rather than playing zero TTE. And that's another thing. You got to also understand the Greek. You got to have, number one, you have to have a perfect entry. It has to be damn near perfect. Number two, you have to understand the Greeks. Because if you don't know those two things, playing zero TTE is going to be a recipe for disaster. And that's why it all comes back to what I said previously: is learning how to chart. If you learn how to chart, you can play zero TDs. You can play them. But if you don't know how to play, if you don't know how to chart really, and you just know the basics and stuff like that, then get time. Like time is to me, when I buy time, is I'm getting insurance. Like I'm protecting my account when I'm getting time. Now, if you're gonna play zero TTE, you have to know what you're doing. You have to know what you're doing. You can't just be playing zero TTE because you see Show Nuff in it, or you see Prince in it, or you see Devin in it. Because those three people that I mentioned, they know how to do zero TTE. They've been doing it for a long time. They've been doing it for years. So they know what they're looking for. They have a plan. They know what they're looking for, and they know when they're gonna have to take profit. And that's what all comes back to: learning how to chart and understanding the Greeks. Now, some people may say Greeks aren't important, but I disagree with that. I think Greeks, especially if you're gonna play zero TTE, the Greeks are very important. And Prince has a great course on that. So if you want to get that, go ahead by all means. But if you're gonna play zero TTE, you gotta understand how it works. Like some of you guys play zero TTE, I'll be down 70-80% and still holding it. I don't. That's another thing. You have to. Yeah, that's also part of managing your risk. Like if you're down, for me personally, if I'm down on anything, I don't play zero TTE anyway, but if I'm in a day or a week and I'm down 20-25%, I gotta cut it. I don't care what the charts say, because my philosophy that I believe in is that I can always just re-enter. That's that's been my motto since I started being consistent with Spot. Like I'll be fine taking that 20% loss, but what I won't be fine with is taking that 70, 80, 90% loss. You just can't keep holding zero TTEs until they 60, 70, 80, 90% down, because you will need, let's just say on a zero TTE contract, your contracts are down, let's say 80%. You're gonna need to have an exponential move. Damn near it has to be let me pull up my calendar to where it shows. So if you're down 80%, you'll need that stock to recover 60% for you to even get in profit. And mind you, zero TTE has terrible theta. Terrible. It's bad. And so my thing is learning the Greeks, and if you're gonna play zero TTE, but I don't recommend it. If you're just starting out and you especially don't know support and resistance, I would start out with just getting time. Like I even throw Bob in, for example. He used to be zero TTE bandit. Like he used to play it all the time. But he gets time on his contract because he understands that the market sometimes it's gonna take a while for the play to work. So you have to be able to know that and understand that, and that you won't. And if your chart is aligning with what with what you're in, that is sometimes it's gonna take time. Like especially the last couple of weeks, we've really just been slicing. So zero TTs would have probably worked most days, but it's been choppy other days too. And so learning the Greeks and learn support and resistance is what you need to do. Learn before you try zero DTE options. For me personally, I'm gonna keep it a bean. Like, if you don't know support and resistance and you're just now learning the basics, I wouldn't touch them. It's not worth the risk. So back, let's go to my next bulletin. Let's talk about stop loss. So, what is your stop loss? Stop loss could vary. It can vary in many different ways. I know some people, they let the chart take them out. Me personally, if I'm down 20-25%, I'm just cutting it, and I'll just re-enter, because the name, just like I said, the name of this game is managing your risk. So if you're holding your plays and you're down 40, 50, 60% and your account is small, that's detrimental to your account. You will never build your account back up if you're holding trades that are 40, 50, 60%. You're just going to keep depositing money in your account, starting over, doing the same thing, starting over. It's going to be a never ending cycle. And so that's where it all comes down to. My first point is coming up with a plan, having a stop loss, taking profit. Because me, I'm fine with 30%. Most of y'all guys want 100%, 200%. I mean, yeah, that's cool. It's rewarding, but you got to understand what you're doing first to get that. You think Show Enough is always getting 100? You used to get when he first started out, he was getting 100, 200% on his trades. No. Do you think Prince, when he was first starting out, he was getting 100, 200% on his plays? No. Why do you think they get there now? They worked hard, they practiced, they charted, and so you want to build that consistency and that confidence within yourself, having a plan, having a strategy, and then you can start aiming for those targets. That all comes with learning how to chart. That's the number one thing to risk management, is learning how to chart. I can't really say that enough. Like, we have a lot of resources in here, so if you guys have any trouble charting, you don't understand support resistance, I mean, we have plenty of admins and people that can teach you that. But the name of the game is sustaining your account, building your account, because that's the only thing that's going to keep you in there in the game, is compounding them gains, taking them gains at 15, 20%. Some of y'all be up 15%, like, and be like, no, I don't want that. I want more. I want more. And then it's going to get into your head. And then when you get that, you're gonna let that green trade turn red. So you just got to learn how to manage those risks, compound those gains. Like, any gain is a good gain. Don't think like 10% is not a good gain, or 50% is not a good gain, just because it's not 100 or 200%. Like, you're building your account regardless. That's what it is. We're all in a different race to something. We all want to be successful at something, whether it's because you got kids, or you got bills, or you got some along the short. But each of us have a different road that we're traveling on. We don't all have the same path. So all because you see Prince, he's getting 102%. He's on a different path. You gotta figure out, what is your path? What is your goal in this? I know what's my goal in this. What is your goal? And so, don't, all because you see people making 100, 200%. I know it can kind of influence you to try to implement those trades. But let me tell you what happens when you try to implement those exact trades. So you go and you get 30%, you get 100%, when you're taking profit at 30% and your contract goes 100%, you have to be okay with that, because in your mind you're gonna come back tomorrow, the next day, be like, you know what? I left money on the table. Let me go get that the next day. Then the next day you do that same plan, and that shit don't go the same way like it did the day before. So that's why you need to take profit at whether it's 15, 20, 25%. It don't matter. But the thing is, you have to be okay with leaving money on the table. Most of you guys are not okay with leaving money on the table. Me, it took me a while to understand that. For example, yesterday I had spy. I think I said this earlier. I had spy five 557 puts, and I sold my runs at 50%, and they went damn near 130%. Was I mad? I mean, I wasn't really that mad, but could I have made more money? Absolutely. But I know what happens if I get mad, like, oh fuck, I left so much money on the table. Because then the next day I'm gonna go and try to get that same percentage that I missed out on. Then I'm gonna end up blowing my account. So you have to be able to take profit and be okay with it. Some of you guys aren't. You guys are brand new. You're gonna understand it, but you have to be okay with taking profit. There's nothing wrong with taking profit. Or because you see someone make 100% doesn't mean that for you have to get the same percentage. Any percentage is a good percentage. And so when you are taking profit, you have to be okay with that. You have to learn to be okay with that, because if you're not okay with it, it's gonna mess with your mind, and you're gonna go try and chase that the next day, and the next day ain't gonna be the same as the day before. And so you're gonna try to chase that same day that you had yesterday, knowing that, damn, I missed that. You're gonna try to go get it, and then you're gonna end up blowing your account again. So that's why I say, like, taking profit, managing your risk, and being okay with leaving money on the table. Like, we all, each and every one of us, all have left money on the table in some way, shape, or form. But the difference between me leaving no money on the table, I'm not gonna go chase that the next day. It's a whole different. It's a whole new day. I'm gonna go find the next trade and try to get, and do the same process like I have been doing, taking profit at 30%, leaving runners to run. That's that's how you're gonna be successful, because in the end, it's all about taking profit. Of course, you're gonna leave money on the table, but the question is, are you gonna be fine with it? Which goes to my next question. I mean, my next topic. So I didn't touch on it. Is Greeks. So what are Greeks? I'm not gonna go too deep into it, because we we have a course on that. But if you want the course, Prince has an excellent course on Greeks. You can go check that out. But learning how to understand the Greeks is pivotal for you guys, especially you new beginners. Because I see some of you guys are like, damn, like, I'm up. The price, the stock is up, but my contracts are down. You have to understand the Greeks part of that. And if you want the course, I'll send you the course. But if you guys got any questions, just let me know. We can just go through it together as a class. You guys can ask me anything. You can type it in the chat. Any questions before I start my next topic?
If you got questions, let them know. This is the time to get your questions in, get your questions answered. These times are important after market. When the market is clean, ask questions. So ask them. If you got them in the chat, type them in the chat. If you can't unmute, type them up. If you can unmute, unmute.
How many trades do you recommend us taking per day? Me personally, I take max of 3 trades because it helps me stable my account and prevent me from blowing my account, because I can with my account I can make 10 to 20 trades. Why don't I not make 10 to 20 trades? Because that's part of managing your risk. If you're taking 3 trades and you're losing 3 trades, you're ultimately going to be blowing your account. So risk management is key in that. So it doesn't have it doesn't have to be 3 trades. It's just my rule. It could be 2 trades. Like if you're a beginner and your account is 1,000 or lower, I say the max trade you should be taking a day is 1 to 2. That's it, 1 to 2. Don't take any more, because I know FOMO it's a killer. Like it's bad. Like you see people up 100% or 90%, like, damn, I wish I got that. But you got to remember managing your risk and keeping your account afloat. Because if you're taking 3 losing trades, why would you go and trade again? That's very detrimental to your account. Your account will be blown. So whether it's win or lose, max is 3 trades for me, but it just depends on your account size. So like if you're 1,000%, I mean, if you had $1,000 account or lower, I would recommend sticking to 1 to 2. But if your account is 2,000 and up, then I recommend 2 to 3, win or lose. See the next question. Also, what are the best times to trade? Best times. Okay, so the best times I think are the best to trade is 10:30 and I'm trying to get the Eastern time right because I'm on Central time, and like 12:30. So those 2 times are the best. Are the best times to trade for me personally. How do you determine top 3 strategies to get familiar with after you learn sports? Just top 3 strategies. Top 3. I'll say supply and demand. No particular order though. Just no particular order. Supply and demand, and market structure, and that's pretty. I don't really have a third one for real. It's just those 2. Is supply and demand and market structure. But honestly, you don't even need those 2. All you pretty much need is support and resistance, because that's gonna ultimately tell you where to sell if you're touching resistance, and when sell puts once you're touching support. It really doesn't matter which strategy, but support and resistance is definitely something to learn first, and then you can try different strategies after that. Determine if a stock should be a day trade or swing. How to determine that is learning how to chart and looking at the time frames. Most definitely, like if you're looking to swing trade, you want to look at the higher time frame. So you want to look at the weekly, the daily, the 4 hour, those time frame. But if you're just looking to day trade or scalp, it's pretty much the 15 to 30 minute and the 1 hour. If anyone else got any questions, I'll But yeah, I recommend. It just depends on your account size. I'll just go back to the first question. Taking one to three trades per day. That's all you need. You don't need to get in all these different trades because it's causes too much confusion. It confuses me. Like I've been seeing some of y'all in so many trades. I'm just like, how? And that's also part of managing your risk. You don't have to trade every day. There's days where it's so choppy. Like for example, with with VIX so elevated like this, with VIX when VIX is at 20 some percent, or I mean 20, 26, $25 or higher, prices on cons, especially on the indexes, they're gonna be expensive. I ain't gonna cap. Like even if you trade a SPY QQQ today, in the money contracts were expensive. Usually, I stay away from it because it's number one, it's expensive, and I won't be able to buy enough contracts like I'm accustomed to. So when VIX is that high, you don't want to be trading those indexes. So one to three trades max is for me personally. Now it just depends on what kind of account you have. Just if you have $1,000 account or lower, one to two trades per day. If you count as 1,000 or higher, you can probably do two to three. But if you're losing on those first two, I recommend don't taking the second trade. I mean the third trade. Go evaluate what you did wrong. Go chart and see, damn, where did I mess up at? Where did I go wrong at? Is it better to trade tickers with higher volatility? Example, my assortment tickers with lower volatility. Not really, because when VIX is elevated like that, cons are going to be expensive, very expensive. I would try to go to other sectors. Me personally, to chart, because I know Meta, MSCR, Meta, those kind of those. I mean, not really MSTR, really, but Meta for sure. So I just try to look for low volatility tickers, not the ones that have high volatility. Does anyone else have any questions? If you can't talk, just write it.
Type it in the chat, type in the lounge chat, in the trading discussions, wherever. But if you've got questions, trust me, get those questions out, get them answered. It will only help you. Any kind of question you have, it's not a dumb question. Every question is welcome.
Exactly.
I definitely do got a question. Like, maybe like certain, like Robinhood, their stop loss and their target price joint. Like you can't like set two orders at this. Like you can't set a target price and a stop loss at the same time. So I was wondering like what platforms like have that if that's even possible at all.
I'm honestly, that's a good question. That's really a good question. I don't know. I don't know if any brokers allows that. Really, I could be wrong.
Like
But
sometimes I'll just be wanting to just set the stop loss and the target price and just not even have to worry about nothing for the day if it hit whatever one. You know what I'm saying?
but my
That's it for the
advice,
day.
my advice is, if you can't set your target price on Robinhood, set your target price on TradingView. You get if you do it like that, you'll be able to. You'll send you an alert, and you'll be able to take profit that way. I'm not sure you can do both at the same time.
How you gonna eat? How you gonna snack on something you teaching right now, boy? Like, what you know some candy.
No, I'm eating some Starburst right now. My mouth is getting dry.
I can tell when you smacking.
My mouth is getting dry. Excuse me, y'all. My fault.
I'm
But
messing with you, J Money. Eat your Starburst. You probably like all pink.
nah. My mouth is getting dry, so I needed to get something. But I don't think you can do both. So if you just set your
Well,
target
I'd say if you want to do something like that, move away from Robinhood and use a broker that allows you to do that.
facts,
That'll
exactly.
solve it for you.
Yeah, I was asking what would be a recommended platform that allows you to do that?
Thinkorswim allows you to do it. I know, like uh, when I used to use Thinkorswim all the time, I can say, "Hey, the contract is at this price. Once it hit this price, take me out." Or I can set it as once the stock price hits a certain price, take me out the trade as well. I think Webull has the same thing, if I'm not mistaken. And I think it's IBKR or IKBR, Interactive Brokers. They have it. I'm trying to see. I would look at Webull. But yeah, I get it too. Because sometimes you don't want to. You ain't got the time to look at monitors all day or charts all day. You gonna once I get in the trade, put my stop loss in. If it hit it, take me out. If it don't, I want to take profit at this area.
Facts, facts. Any more questions? I mean, feel free. I mean, I'm here to cheat. I'm here because I want you guys to understand the market because I've been in the market since what 2020, something like that. Yeah, the pandemic. Yeah. So yeah, I started in 2020. First 3 months, if not more, I kept blowing my account because I didn't know what I was doing. I was taking call outs from from multiple different people, and sometimes I didn't know when to take profit, and I was just holding just to hold because I didn't know nothing. I didn't know shit about a chart. I didn't know shit about support and resistance. I didn't know none of that. So I was taking call outs and just like having no plan and just hoping I get a good ass return. And 9 times out of 10, it didn't work out. Do you think newbies should wait on day trading and focus on swing first? Absolutely not. And here's why. Swinging, you gotta know what you're swinging, and you gotta know when is the time to swing. And that all comes with charting, learning, looking at different time frames. Me me personally, when I first started, I was just day really swinging. I didn't really swing. I didn't start swinging until I first started. I first started trading like on my own, like trading spy on my own, like learning how to trade spy, charting spy. That's when I really started swinging. So my advice is for new traders, stick to day trading is the easiest because in case you haven't seen, shit can change overnight, like in a blink of an eye. Shit can change that fast. So you gotta also know like what you're looking at. What does the weekly what is the weekly telling you? What is the even like if you want to go top down, what is the monthly telling you? What is the weekly telling you? What's the 4 hour telling you? If it's telling you to swing, then yeah, you can swing. But as a new trader, I just stick to day trading because that's I have shown for me that has been the easiest to day. be successful. Then you can venture out. You don't want to start swinging and working your way down. You want to start day trading first, understanding the time frames, and then
my inventory.
then you can start trading.
Look LKQ for reliable service, providing you any part for any repair anywhere.
Can't unmute that person, but I had to mute him. But yeah, I recommend day trading first, and then learning what your strategy, then work your way down. Any other questions? I know some of you guys have a hard time managing risk. This is the perfect time. No, I'm not. No, I am not no expert on managing risk, but I understand it enough to when to take profit, when to not trade, when I know I'm taking too many trades and stuff like that. So if you have any questions, just feel free. It's just a judgment free zone. When do I not trade? That's a good question. But when I do not trade, it's when I don't see what I'm looking for. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But it just depends on what I see. Like if you're a new trader and you're not used to trading in choppy environments, it's not worth it to trade, honestly. Because you're not understanding prices just stuck at a spot or demand or supply, and it's just sitting there or below it. And so sometimes you want to wait until it breaks out of that demand or that supply, because 9 out of 10, once it breaks out of that supply or it breaks down that demand, you're gonna get a bigger move on either. But the real question is, are you gonna be patient for that to play out? Yeah, show have said plenty of times, and I'm telling you, like, I still struggle with patience. I'll be honest, I'm not always patient. I'm not always patient, and sometimes I do pay for it. That's why I've been trying to practice more on being patient and waiting until it breaks out of that supply or breaks down out of that demand level, whichever, or either if it breaks out of resistance or breaks support. I want to wait till it comes back, because more times often than not, if it's trying to break the resistance, it has to come back and test that resistance, now support, and that's gonna be the move you want, not when it breaks out of that resistance, but when it comes back and retests that resistance, turns support. But the thing is, are you gonna be patient enough to wait for it? Me, keep it a bean. 9 times out of 10, I'm not. I'm usually not. That's why you see Show always preach. That's why you hear Show always preach. Patience is key. It really is. Like this week, no, not even this week, but the last 2-3 weeks. If you had patience, you got paid. You got paid well. If you wasn't patient, you know what happened. So patience is key. And I think one of the lessons the market is showing us now is exactly that. It's learning how to be patient. So you got to ask yourself when you're coming to a trade, are you going to be patient for that setup? Because whether it's breaking out, if it breaks support, are you going to wait for it to come back, or are you going to chase that move? Because if you chase that move, 9 times out of 10, it has to test that same spot again to confirm that move to go lower. If it's that support
Mm.
or if it's that resistance, it got to come back to that. It got to come back to that set resistance, turn support to go back to confirm the move to go higher. So my question is, are you guys going to be patient enough to wait for that? Me, I'm usually not, but I'm learning. Yes, less zero DTEs. Yes. Now I don't have a problem with people trading zero DTEs. If you want to trade them, that's cool. I don't got no judgment. But for me personally, that's not my strength. I know where my strength is. My strength is buying time. My weakness is playing zero DTE. 9 times out of 10, I'm getting clapped. And why would I play into my weakness when I know where my strength is buying time? That's also what you got to figure out. What is your strength? If your strength is buying time, keep going in that direction. Don't go in that other direction because you see other people playing zero TTs. Go in a direction that's giving you strength. Don't go in that other direction that's giving you playing into your weakness. You don't want to play into your weakness. You want to play into your strength. The reason why Shonuff is so good at it, Prince is so good at it, because their entries, your entries have to be damn near precise and flawless. And if you know your entries are not that good, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But buying time is what's gonna help you be successful now. The way these prices look on these SPY and QQQ cons, buying time might not be the best because they're expensive right now. But that doesn't mean you go force your trade playing zero DTE and just sit out, or you might have to go further out a little bit. But you also got to understand the Greeks that, like, if you're in puts, you're not gonna make the same. Your contracts are not gonna what I'm trying to say. They're not gonna move more because you're pretty much damn near out of the money. But our recommendation is, for now, until VIX get down, and if your entries are not perfect with zero DTEs, I'll just say just a dozen other tickets you can play. Anybody else got any questions? Feel free. And, like, I'll be honest, like, last year I took 3,000 to 100K in 6-7 months. How do you think that I did it? Did I just let my losses go to 80-90%? No. Did I play zero DTEs? No. I managed my risk. I full ported when it was convenient. I didn't just full port just because I wanted to, because that was my goal. I figure out a plan and I full ported when needed to. When I see we had strength and when we had trends. Those are gonna be your best friends when growing your account. Like, the last couple of weeks, it's not, you want to be taking profit at 15, 20, 25%. You don't want to go any more than that. Taking your profit, I think that's what the market teaches lessons. It doesn't matter. It teaches a lot of lessons. The market this month is teaching you patience and taking profit. Most of the reasons why some people, most of you guys, are went from green to red because you didn't take profit. You wanted more, and sometimes it doesn't work out like that, and that's cool. But you got to be taking profit, being patient, and waiting on the right setup. That's all it is. But the market is especially teaching that now. Is being patient and waiting for that setup to come. Most of the time, it don't come. But are you willing to be patient enough to wait for it? Are you gonna jump in too early before the move actually happens? Does anybody else have any other questions?
This is your last opportunity. If you got a question, type it out or unmute yourself and let us know.
Don't be scared to ask any question, and no question ain't a dumb question. If you got trades that you want to talk about, questions about risk management, anything. It could be anything. Just type it in the lounge chat so I'll be able to see it. No questions? Okay, well, class is pretty much over, but what I want to show you guys before I go is be patient. I know a lot of people have been having a difficult time in this market. All I would say is continue charting, continue learning, because the market is adapting. You have to adapt too. So just make sure you're always charting, always learning. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me or Prince or show enough or anyone in the chat.
Right. Straight up. Well, thank you, bro. Thank
No
you.
problem.
Thank you to those of you who showed up. I do notice who shows up, so I appreciate that. And thanks to those who ask questions as well. As you guys know, it's being
No problem.
recorded and uploaded. So, yeah, thanks again.
Thank you all.